Settle in, folks. Today we're diving headfirst into a soundscape so utterly unique, gloriously unhinged, it can only emanate from one place, Cotati, California. Yes, before you ask, we are, as always, recording this episode of Sit Down by the Fireside from a sterile, white recording studio, thousands of miles away from anything resembling an actual crackling earth. The irony, I assure you, has not lost on us. Who better to guide us through this labyrinth of bellows and buttons than the ringmaster himself, Scott Goree, the director of the Cotati Accordion Festival. We're talking about a pilgrimage here, folks, a migration of the musically devoted, drawn by an almost primal urge to share in the unadulterated fanaticism that is accordion. From the fundamental gut bucket squeeze box wails to the dizzying heights of electronica-clad infused accordion wizardry, it all finds a home here. Let's pull back the curtain and get acquainted with the man who makes it all happen.
Questions. How it started was Clifton Buck Hoffman and Jim Dojo. Bless their souls. They died in '6. Clifton just passed this past year. But the original germ was that Dojo was he's a statue that's there. If you've ever gone there, you see the guy playing the accordion, that's him. He is the type of person that filled up a room, was a great musician, and knew everybody, not just the accordion business, but in the music business from coast to coast. So Clifton at the time, in 1991, was, I remember what they called at the time, the Sonoma County Cultural Center, or something, or association, something like that. It was to present the arts and plays. He wanted, he had a family, they had a family ranch in Cotati. He wanted to do something in Cotati. And Bojo said, how about an accordion festival? And of course, that was an outrageous idea. But Bojo managed to talk Clifton into it. And 34 years later, it's still happening. It was mainly Bojo being able to go out and get all these top people in the accordion world to come and play back in nothing to get this thing jump off the ground. I mean, I looked at the mix, and most of the people were paid $100, which was basically even bands played for $100. So that's how they jump started it.
Gotcha.
I think we've all posed there with Jim ourselves. So take pictures with family in front of the statue.
I got quite a few of those myself. Half the time I don't even see the pictures coming. But so, and then it was 2004. It kind of had been running its course a little bit, as far as at the time Clifton was still running it, and his partner running it at the time was a good friend of mine, family friend, Rebecca Brown. My connection with the festival was only being a good old friends of the people who started it. At the time, I owned live music nightclubs, and I didn't really have time to devote myself to the festival like they did. But in 2004, after the festival, there were 8 of us at the dinner. Clifton invited me and my wife to come along with members of the team that put on the festival. And we were at the dinner, in the middle of the dinner, Rebecca and Clifton stood up and announced the retirement of the festival. I just kind of spontaneously, I just like, not so fast. And Clifton goes, well, Scott, you'd be crazy to do this. And I go, well, we already know I was screw loose. It's, at the time I was retired. I'd sold my last nightclub. So I just, Eric Kurtzman, who had been working with them in different ways, he went to City Hall, took out all the paperwork. He called me up and goes, well, you promised that you would jump in if I went and got the paperwork. I go, yeah, but I didn't really know if he could do that. But he did. And I jumped in. I got all the volunteer groups. None of them got any money that year because there wasn't any money for donations left over, because it was like it did that well. It didn't lose money, it just didn't make any money. And I got all the volunteer groups to agree to come back and give it a shot. I knew that we had to get a jump started. So I went out and I got Flaco Jimenez and Queen Ida as my back-to-back acts, which at the time in the Zydeco world, Queen Ida was the queen, and Flaco Jimenez in the accordion world is always a huge legend. And boom, it just it worked. And and I'm still doing it. It's like every year, it's like there's tons of different challenges. Every year, there's something different you have to deal with. That's why they call it a festival. But that's basically how it got jump started.
One of the things that outside of the world's with the folks that are infatuated with the accordion, it is the corny instrument. And in my mind, this festival kind of obviously defeats that sentiment. But is that something that you account for in the preparation and the orchestration of the festival?
Well, I'm not going to say that I've never heard the term. Backing up a little, it's Dick Contino, who I had play every other year until Dick passed away. In 1950 to 52, he might have been the most popular musician in the United States. I have pictures of him playing at the Hollywood Bowl, where the whole place was packed, and the whole front, waves of people in the front are all teenage girls screaming. It's the thing is, when the guitar came in and the accordion lost its after the Korean War, all of a sudden it was like the accordion lost its flavor, lost its dominance. But in the whole rest of the world, nothing ever changed, and the accordion stayed big. And all the other in the U.S., yes, it became corny. Jokes made about it, and other countries all around the world, the accordion still never has been seen as corny and never has been a source of jokes, and it's always been a prominent instrument. So part of it was like making it, and the charter, this was a multicultural event. Yeah, I did. I went and I started with people around the world who were bringing all that. There's some cultures in there. Here I'd have young, vibrant musicians from around the world coming and playing the accordion. I mean, they're used to going and playing to big crowds, and no one ever thinking the accordion was ever playing. But I have to admit that it's like when I do parades, like this year I did 5 parades. We have a 52, so we convertible, and I always have a accordion players in the back playing. But I always get people that are going to kind of break the stereotype, because I know that people have preconceived notions of what an accordion festival might be. And all my promotion, I try to break those notions. That's an ongoing challenge.
As you enter the festival, it's just you're surrounded by the excitement and the engagement of people who love the accordion or love the context of the accordion in a music festival. And the fact that you can see from the Apocalypse stage to and younger artists taking it to the edge, if you will, to the main stage with more traditional artists and bigger bands using an accordion in a wide variety of formats. The eclecticism is just unbelievable, and I would think that'd be hard to sustain to an extent.
Well, yes and no. I mean, that wasn't an accident. That was Clifton and Jim's original idea, was to do just what you said. It's hard because it's hard putting on a festival for a lot of different reasons. But as far as keeping musicians, all walks, all genres around the world and all across the U.S., it's not hard at all. I mean, it's hard financially. I can't sort of fly in too many people from different areas. But as far as people wanting to play from all these different genres, all these different styles, they all want to come to Cotati. I mean, it's Corey Pesaturo, who is part of our team. He plays around the world, and he's won these competitive championships. He's played with great musicians. I mean, he played with Quincy Jones, for God's sake. But it's like he just goes, "This is the best accordion festival in the world." he has got everybody. He originally, when I was trying to get people from other countries to come, he was my contact. But he would he knows people all around the world, and he would tell these young players, "Look, come to Cotati. I promise you, you won't be disappointed." They had to write a letter to the mainland China government one time to have this girl come in, and it was kind of funny because I had to write a proposal to this communist regime. We're not. They say they're afraid that had all these assurances and this and that. But when she came, and the first thing I did when I picked her up at the airport was I banged her case against something, and that kind of freaked her out right away. And when she got to the top, got to that part, she was such a fish out of water. She had never like that had ever presented her. She was used to concert, closed in kind of, well, maybe huge halls, but concert and strict and structured. And after 2 days, she came up to me at the end after playing and just wrapped her arms around me and just said, in her broken English, "Scott, please have me back here." She goes, "This is one of the greatest experiences I've ever had as a musician." So that's what we offer people, and it's like when they come and they play, they want to come back. I mean, I know, I know. There's one great thing out here. He played. He never came back, and I asked somebody why one time, and they told me he was freaked out because he played right after the Great Morgani.
I was going to ask about the Great Morgani.
And he goes, "There's a guy that was almost a clown that played before me. That really was unsettling. I don't know about that place."
Oh my God. We've missed him the last couple of years, but my God, there's sure been a lot of people filling in for that niche that Morgani would fill at every one of the concerts.
Yes, I mean, I miss him every year that he's been gone, but he's okay. He's not strong enough to drive up here and play. He'll still do things. He lives in Santa Cruz, and he'll still do an occasional thing down there, but he's limited to Santa Cruz. He's the nicest guy in the whole world. And if you met him, you would never even dream that he was actually the Morgani guy, because you never see who it is.
Right.
I never saw him at the festival without being in some elaborate costume that was just beyond belief. It was so over the top, and sometimes it's multiple people as one, and he pulled off something that really transcends the genre in so many ways. Again, eclectic.
And he's a good accordion player.
To top it off. He could be lousy and probably still do pretty well, but he happens to be really spectacular.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds. Now, is in your mind, as someone that's facilitating these sort of things, there's a lot of cultural cultivation that happens, as you've described. Well, one of the main hurdles, or one of the potential hurdles, could be permits and this and that. Is Cotati a friend in this game? Obviously it's an established thing at this point, but how is the interplay between Cotati and yourself, the other people putting this on?
One thing that's funny about the Accordion Festival, it's going on for 34 years. There's rarely somebody is in City Hall there for 34 years.
Oh.
So what you're doing, you have an institution that is going through everything. They're trying to recreate the same thing or something similar each year with a bunch of different obstacles. And meantime, the people that you have to deal with at City Hall are changing through the years. So, and then some have more of a positive view than others. 91 to 2007, they waived all fees. They was that excited about the Accordion Festival. Then the Bush Depression hit in 2008. They started charging some fees, but it's from city council to city council. It has been, when I get new people in city council, they start going, like, this thing is a drain on our economy. I mean, on our funds. I've always pointed out that the Department of Tourism in 2010 did an impact report. They had access to all our tickets sold, so they knew where all the tickets were coming from through a business called Aries that we were using at the time to sell tickets. So they were able to put all that. They were able to put all that in the system and come up with a projected economic impact report. And it counted that it was over 100. That's my daughter. She must need to check out an ad, but I can wait a second. Her ringtone is an air raid siren.
Oh.
The only person
get your attention.
So the economic impact showed that we brought in over $100,000 to the community through our out of town travelers for that weekend. they in City Hall, they're concerned about $1,000 here, $3,000 there, and I'm having to write petitions and do a speech every year, and write letters in order to keep the price going up higher. They continually want the price to need to pay higher fees. It is it changes from year to year, but it never. Every once in a while, I'll bring up, it used to be no charges. What happened to that? Making it up. When I show them the economic impact report, they said that's not really relevant to how we have to balance our budget. No, that doesn't. That's, in other words, take that and shove it. That's but I don't know. They are they waive cost. It went from, well, I mean, I don't want to get into the minutiae of the cost,
Sure.
but it's gone from in 2008. The costs have gone up, but at one point they said we can keep it down to $3,000 if you petition as a nonprofit under this certain clause. Now, then in 2022, after different cities had consultants come in and tell them how they should be making back more money that they lost during COVID, they decided that I should be paying an extra $8,000. But they waived that for the time being. And this year they said, you know what, we no longer see why that should be waived. I know it's been on hold, but cities need money now, and they're looking at me as a source of income rather than, they're acting like I'm getting away with something, but I'm doing something for us, which is just the Accordion Festival group, rather than doing a community event for everybody. I mean, in my mind, it's like I'm doing a community event for everybody that everybody benefits from.
Right.
It's a nonprofit. We do their funds.
Oh, the love engendered in creating this and bringing people in. It just, I thought about trying to move there myself.
Well,
It's such a cool town because of this music festival. And
My,
again, the groups of people, you don't see that anywhere else.
My co-producer, Linda Connor, who retired during COVID, her phrase always was, "Our main product is joy." And that sounds slick, but it's really true. I mean, because we bring so many different people together at different styles and different walks of life and whatnot, and they come together through the common love of music, it produces joy, especially when we have good musicians. We have, I don't know, we have such a camaraderie with the musicians. The musicians all love meeting each other from the different genres. It's not like somebody from Tex-Mex isn't mixing with the people doing the polka. They all get together, backstage or afterwards, or do different things together. They really, and that camaraderie the audience picks that up. That unification kind of thing, and it makes the audience feel like they're part of it, part of the unification.
It feels like almost a family experience, a party. The sense of community that's just engendered in being part of the crowd is unlike any other festival that I've been to, and I think it speaks well of the organizers and the understanding of what the accordion and this culture can bring to us in a unique way. And I guess it also question is, I wonder what some of the after parties are like. It had to be some good times with people who are just suddenly surrounded by accordion players and accordion focused music and culture, perhaps.
I know that there's a history of the people getting together at different ranches, at different clubs, whatnot, and having lots of accordion music afterwards from the different genres and whatnot. Unfortunately for me, by the time I get out of there, I go home and go to bed.
Yeah.
Up first thing the next morning, and then I got to go home and go to bed. It's like, I'm just trashed. So I don't get to see any of that, but I hear about it going on. So
Yeah, well, certainly the civic interactions can be adversarial, but it's hard. I can't think of that park being filled with I can think of being filled with more problematic people, maybe some thugs. I see nothing but a good impact in terms of community and having, if you want to have a bunch of people come to one place, accordion folks, kind of a safe bet in terms of a bunch of people gathering, rather than a punk rock or some sort of metal concert or anything.
But when I had music nightclubs, they were in Sonoma County, and when you're in a small market, the way you make it is have lots of different genres each night. And so I would do everything. So I've worked with punk rock, I've worked with reggae, I've worked with blues, I've worked with everybody. I was working with the accordion people. It's just the easiest thing in the world. Because there's no egos. They're doing it just because it's just pure love. No one would think that they're going to be a rock star. They just happy to have an audience that loves their music. That's all there is to it. So that is a big factor.
The degree to which there's great collegiality and kind of comfort among everyone in the audience. It's unlike anything else I've experienced.
People ask me who the demographic is. Like one person the other day, it's like when I told them that it's like we get close to 5,000 people on the weekend and they go, "Are there that many people who like the accordion?" And I go, "Well, to tell you the truth, it's like a large part of our audience is, but a huge part of our audience are music lovers." I'd say probably most of the people in the audience are either in the music business or have somebody in the family as a music business or a musician. And it's like, and then you have the accordion people, and then you have people who just love festivals, and then you have the people like who look, the sun's out today. It'd be cool to check this thing out. We've never done it before. So you get all that connected in at the accordion festival, but it's mainly there's a lot of musicians, a lot of people in the music business.
Do you think part of one of the advantages might be that in the San Francisco area we had Polkaside, Maggie's, a few bands which many of us were familiar with going back maybe 30 years. I mean, that's kind of leaves being in the Bay Area. I was aware of a few accordion focused or at least featuring bands as part of what I would take in on a fairly regular basis. Is that added something, or is that just kind of
those darn accordions did a lot to break the stereotype. And I mean, I know a lot of the people. They had a lot of different people in it over the years. Paul Rogers still runs it. They would actually be playing this year, except that he still plays with a wall of accordions, but now he plays with he had 4 women accordionists, and then a band back up. And each one of them had some family thing or some unusual thing. Each one had to do this. But they break the accordion stereotype more than anybody. But if you want to break the accordion stereotype, Eric Mancini, who I played this year, we have this. She hasn't figured out her schedule yet, it might not, but she's the accordion player for Go-Go Bordello. And when they go to Germany, they go and they play in front of 20,000 people. And when she's not back there playing the accordion, she's out front. She's sent me videos of her running out the tongue, playing the accordion, and everybody just screaming, and going down. There's a lot of our musicians, a lot of our acts break all the stereotypes. I mean, Goree Pesaturo doing jazz on the accordion. Anybody who thinks the accordion is some sleepy thing that Grandpa used to do, and then you see Goree out there doing jazz on it. It's like just some of the best in the world. I mean, I don't book people to break the stereotype. I want to get people who are good, but I definitely keep an eye out for people who break the stereotype. Taking it to the next. So that's why I developed the Apocalypse stage. That was big. Skylar Fell had her accordion booth there. It was a accordion repair booth. And one year she had a couple of people play in the booth. And then the next year she put like a little riser in there. And she goes, "Is this okay?" And I go, "Okay, I'm not sure. You're in the middle of the gender thing." And then the next year she made more of a production out of it. I went, "Wait a second. The people that she was drawing in were younger, alternative, just cool young people in, and then pretty soon you got a big crowd. Now it's the stage is an institution and are part of our production, and I have it there because I want the accordion to have that connection. that part of the world as part of the main thing. I want to put it all together in one big, stew. And that apocalypse stage is a significant part of it.
Yeah.
As is polka. Now the polka tent, we still get everybody over there doing the people with polka who have polka, some were polka before. They go over there, get carried away. The next thing, after a couple of years, they're polka. So, it's something for everyone. That's for sure.
And the love engendered in people's actions within each of those is obvious. Certainly in the polka dance area, the people who are doing the polka there are a joy to watch, and they themselves, you can see how much pleasure they derive from the band Steve is playing, and it's just fantastic to have that. And the idea that you can also integrate the experience off campus, if you will, from the festival itself, half a block away, with the Zydeco going on in the restaurant a block away. That's just what a wonderful kind of nexus of different parts of different establishments playing together a role in one greater good.
Yeah. No, I agree. That part's really. I mean, the Zydeco. Once again, the Zydeco section is just as fundamentally part of it. I mean, I'd feel something was naked in the festival if we didn't have the Zydeco party going on.
Mm.
It's a old saying that it's like the sum is it's like the sum is greater than the parts, or I have that reverse. All the different parts make for what is the end result. Even though some of the parts might be smaller, they really make the whole overall atmosphere. Makes it attractive.
Yeah. Well, it occurs to me that given again the diverse spectrum of folks that are involved and all of this sort of stuff, it is a cultural force. There's no doubt about that. Are there things on the horizon which are especially to be looked forward to this year or onward in regards to new things or different things on offer relative to the festival?
That's an interesting question. I'm always looking for something new. I'm always looking for bringing in somebody new that's doing something a little bit different, something that hasn't quite been done the same before that way. Erica Mancini is a good example. I guess you in any kind of concert, but I mean, I'm still going to be producing Accordion X. I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, yes, I want to curate to the point that we always have people who are really top in their field in that area and whatnot. It's like the Cumbia group that I've had the last couple of years that I'm now bringing back again. They've gotten so well renowned in Cumbia, and they're all from the East Bay, that there's an area in Colombia where Cumbia was started. Cumbia is part Colombian, part Caribbean, African, but it's Latino music. There's a festival, a Cumbia festival there that's been going on for quite a few years. Never had a Cumbia band other than Colombian Cumbia bands there ever, except for this past year where they had Risaka Mariposa play, which is the group that I'm having play. They're the first ones to be invited outside of Colombia to this major event that's been happening for decades. So, like I said, I try to get the best in each field, and that is always a challenge, and it's always it's an ongoing thing, and things change. So, yeah, I'm always got an eye to it. It's not. There's no formula.
Congratulations on bringing in the Air Force band last year as well. Oh my gosh, how did you do that?
That's Cody Peppercorn, and he knew the accordion player, and he called me up and he goes, "I know the accordion player for this," and I go, "Wait a minute, the Air Force band has an accordion player?" And he goes, "They actually have different shoots. It's the same band, but they'll have it in different configurations, and they have a thing called Galaxy, a 9-piece where the accordion is the front." And I go, "Well, bingo." And I asked my son, when he thought of it, and he goes, "I've mixed it before." He goes, "Great." He goes, Plus, because they're the easiest people in the world to deal with. On time, they're orderly, they're polite. They're like, I don't know. That's funny. He just said it's like he goes, they're a joy to work with, and I found out they are. So we decided to bring them back another year.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, as someone who's enjoyed many variations on the theme of the lineup there, of the Air Force Band, as well as many other military bands, but particularly the Air Force Band there. Obviously, the incredible musicianship by virtue of the fact that's all they do.
Well, I will say this though, Maxwell has managed to bring the Air Force Band into the Fleet Week in San Francisco to kind of integrate a little bit of Air Force into the Fleet Week experience in San Francisco. So
very interesting.
We understand how really great the musicians are, the musicianship, but I didn't know about the accordion. That was
it was news to me. News to me as well. I was not privy to the accordion focus of one of the groups. But
yeah,
delighted to hear that it's to whatever degree an American sort of patriotic sort of thing is fragile at this point, but the accordion can make it that much more vibrant. And
once again, the accordion has a tendency to bring people from different walks of life together, and it has the ability to transcend differences that people might have in the audience. There's a large as you can see in this sound stage. There's a lot of probably progressive people, and the main audience, there might be some Republicans. You never hear about any of that at the Accordion Festival. Mm-hmm. Everybody's on the same team that weekend, so that's what we try to foster, and hopefully
it's a unifying force. The instrument itself, as well as the camaraderie that surrounds it, no doubt. Want to be cognizant of your time, of course, but I'm very curious, just in terms of, you've expressed some of the hurdles in terms of dealing with the establishment, so to speak, and trying to cultivate something that's compelling for a vast spectrum of an audience. What other things do you find irksome? What are the hurdles that you find, and relative to your experience with other clubs? So you've dealt with as clubs and nightlife. What are the unique hurdles that this festival is providing, offering?
Well, I've already touched on the city council city government.
Yes.
And so I'd be right. In case they happen to see this, I go up to them. I always get excited. One thing about I like overcrowding and volume. Things we have to overcome. You always want to basically, when you're running a nightclub, you don't need more people. If it happens too much. I ended up running into that problem. I had in San Rosa, there was a place called the Rose Hotel, which was next to my nightclub at the time, but they were closed. And after a few years, they reopened it. And I had sound complaints. So I know what the different hurdles can be. I haven't really. I mean, there's the hurdle of just the confines of the stage. My main thing, hate anything is sound bleeding, and there's going to be a lot of sound bleeding when you have that many stages in a small area. That's why I have 90 vendors for two reasons. One, I have it as a source of income, but it's also my sound bathroom. I structure it all, so you'd be amazed how those people in those booths can eat up sound. Where the polka king and the apocalypse, when the whole area fills up with vendors and people, you can't hear one sound. It doesn't bleed from one to the other. So I'm always trying to structure everything. And I have booths around the jam camp down on the north side. I'm always trying to jam everything around so I don't have the sound bleeding. It drives me crazy. In the business, I just can't stand that.
It is super effective. It is super effective. It really, what you just said is so true. You can take in any one of those acts, the big stage or small stage, and you're not impacted by the others. It works.
So I always say so far.
Has it ever rained? Obviously, you try to account for some amount of water, but has that ever been a problem?
It was only a problem once, and it didn't rain, but it said it was cloudy, and it said on the smartphone to people in the North Bay that it was raining, and it was raining. And I had a lot of people from Red County, especially, tell me that they didn't come because they felt said it was raining. And I had people ask me, "Well, what was it like getting rained out?" I go, "Never rained." It just, and I found out that if it rains, but up high in the atmosphere, but it evaporates before it hits, that can still register on your smartphone as rain.
Oh.
And so that was the only year we had any problem with that. But other than that, I'm knocking on wood all over the place, but I haven't had rain yet. You're much, this year is pretty moderate, but you're a lot more afraid of hot weather than anything these days. And the reason being is that I don't know through global warming. I've heard that there's less ozone, or that the heat, the sun is more intense, or whatever, even when the temperature is still about the same. But now, if you get in the high 90s, people will stay home. You're over 100, you're dead. There was a Zydeco festival for a long time in Sebastopol, put on by the Chamber of Commerce, and they hit the high 90s their weekend one year, and that was the end of the festival. They lost so much that they were able to bring it back. If you go to most festivals now, you'll see sail shades, a lot of sail shades in the areas that don't have. The festivals are really getting really conscious of that, and audiences are starting to look for that. So, and I feel that in the future, as time moves on, that's going to become even more prevalent.
I will say, just by virtue of the park that you're in, it is such natural, beautiful shade that's offered to the attendees. There are places which are going to be in the sun, but for the most part, the shade offered is really very, very nice.
I've talked to festival directors from different situations who are just totally jealous of me because that built-in shade. They go, "Do you know how valuable that is?" It's really that one year, right before the festival, the city was up in the trees pruning, and I went, "Not
No.
What?" They go, "We don't want any of these things falling on anybody." I go, "Hey, we need the shade." It's
lucked out in terms of having that park there. The other thing that occurs to me, there are not many statues of an accordion player. If I'm not mistaken, there's one by virtue of my education through Goree pastors, one in Santa Cruz, or
there is?
It's Monterey.
Monterey has one.
There are not many statues of accordion players.
I've never seen it.
That in itself is a unique feature specifically to this park, obviously as it relates to the festival. But obviously demonstrates some level of community commitment to honor the instrument and the festival. It's just you don't see that every day, and so that's a peculiar thing to come across. I can imagine, not in the context of a festival, it's even more strange to come across a park with an accordion player, not a Greek goddess or something to that effect, but an accordion player.
They use the city of Cotati uses that statue in a lot of their promotional literature. They use the accordion festival a lot as raising their profile. They appreciate that they're recognized worldwide, and the city council members, most of them actually volunteer for different things at the festival. And the last meeting, each one took after lambasting me. Basically, each one they didn't. The funny thing, they didn't know. I was on the consent calendar. I was on Zoom. They didn't know whether I was on Zoom or not. I just logged on. But then they decided, they said, we have questions. We're going to wait until the whole city council meeting's over. And when it's just the city council, we have a discussion. We're going to have a discussion about some problems we have with the festival. And I listened to the whole thing, and I didn't say anything because I was too angry. But each one of them, after they said it, they said, "But I do love the Cotati Accordion Festival." It's almost a homestead volunteer. But they have an issue about where I donate my money now. I believe the idea was to donate to music in schools. Well, they don't like the fact that I donated to Rancho Cotati High School, which is in Roanoke Park, even though, because it's mainly Roanoke Park students, even though anybody high school age in Cotati goes to that school. I mean, they're starting to split hairs with me, but saying they should have a say in I donate the money. But I don't know. It's just, but I don't even want to go there to the politics of that stuff. So, like I said, it's like every year, it's like these people have been in office, I think, for a couple of years now. So I'm kind of reinventing the wheel with them. It's like something I've already gone through with past city councils, and then they move on, do something else in my other city council, and I have to start here again. But that's part of the deal, you know. That's part of when you people who laugh about the hurdles when who are in the business about doing a festival, they go, that's what a festival is troubleshooting, going in problems.
Well, obviously, you've inspired an ideal also in volunteers, because the same mission and the same belief in really the collegiality, camaraderie, and creating a great experience is there in all the volunteers. I mean, I just have never encountered someone who wasn't in love with the idea of being there, working for you and this festival.
We get over 200 volunteers for the weekend. Well over 200 volunteers. And that's everything. And you know what our security is? It's the mothers from the Pin Grove Nursery School Co-op. It's not Pin. It's the Cotati Roanoke Park Nursery School Co-op, and it's the mothers, and we'll get about 20 to 30 of them, and they do the gates and whatnot. They're our security, and it's an accordion festival. Knock on wood again, but I've seen people who have a little too much to drink, maybe trouble. The next thing, there's others around kind of wagging their finger. The next thing, the guy goes over and sits down. It's that's how we try to run things and keep it on that level. Try to keep that atmosphere for as long as we can. It's worked for 34 years, but always, I know nothing's going to change.
That's a clever use of motherly or parental sort of influence there.
A light touch.
Not the big bouncer guy that you would see hanging out a bar. Right. Of course, again, the clientele here is not the most. You're not really having to worry all that much about them. But a clever use of sociodynamics in terms of just deflating issues and having more shame involved. And I can imagine shame being a major influence, of which I know I steer clear of parental shame.
Your father's up there.
Yeah. So that's a great. That is just great.
What's also great is in just under 5 weeks we'll be there. So
it's true. It's around the corner. So this is an annual event. I imagine that there probably was a pause in 2020, but other than that, it's been going for how long again? If you can remind.
34 years. 2020, I had 2 festivals virtual, and I had accordion players from around the world play in either the bedrooms or the living rooms.
Oh.
And it was the amount of, I think it's like it was all paid for by something like $8,000 of donations came in from people just watching it. They just kept throwing in 5, 10, 20. And people watched it around the world. That was like 2020. It was like 2 different festivals and 9 different countries each time.
Wow.
That was fun.
It's delightful to see that this thing is still thriving. That there's still a great turnout. That there's still folks willing to donate their time and literally volunteer, but also come and get tickets and be a part of this. As someone that recently witnessed I think it was the last year of the Three Rivers Jazz Festival. This is the last year, and it's a sad thing when which had been. This is a festival that's been going on for 40 some years.
Where's that at?
Three Rivers is east of like Modesto, Fresno area. It's middle California. It's way the hell out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
which may, in fact, be the contributing factor as to why it's not as appealing relative to Cotati. The other interesting thing about that festival, unlike this festival, one of the things that this festival has going for it is that it is in one park. There's a singular geographic location where there are multiple stages. It's the mecca of all sorts of things. Whereas several of these other festivals, specifically, I'm referring to predominantly my experience with traditional jazz festivals, is there's one, the Chamber of Commerce will have one stage, and then you have to drive 10 minutes to get somewhere else, which is a pain in the butt.
Okay.
And so the Cotati is unique in that even the venues that are off the restaurants, even that's manageable to get to. Everything is
Easy.
easy sort of
Yeah.
way to interact with all the various festival elements. So it's and the fact that it is still going strong. There's not like this waning attendance, or it is still the vibrant entertainment mecca that has persisted for so long. It's
In Cotati.
In Cotati, nonetheless. I will confess, I would not have gone to Cotati without there would be no way in hell I'm going to Cotati. Maybe I'll be driving up the highway, but I would never have stopped in Cotati. So the festival is the singular purpose why I've gone to the restaurants and all of these things. Otherwise, there is no way. Petaluma, sure. Maybe
the natural beauty would do it, maybe for some of us, but the drive for us to get there is the festival you're putting on. So thank you for doing that, Scott.
Oh, my pleasure. It's great to hear. Great to hear all these positive things. It makes my day.
Well, I so appreciate.
You'll be making ours in just under 5 weeks.
Yes.
I have people all the time tell me how, I love the Cotati Accordion Festival. And I go, you realize that you just made my day saying that. I mean, you just really appreciate it when people say it. And I like saying that to people because it makes them feel good. So you want to generate that. You want to just generate, the micro and macro level, whatever you can.
Yeah, well, the excitement is building in a visceral sense here, and I'm sure it is elsewhere, as you described the appeal from all over the place and bringing people in. The excitement is brewing, and it is just a short ways away here. So we'll make sure to include ways that people can get involved, be it in getting tickets or, better yet, volunteering or any other various ways that folks can contribute.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure to meet you, Scott. Thank you.
My pleasure on this side, and I really appreciate this whole thing.
Some might call it a quaint local shindig, perhaps a bureaucratic box-ticking exercise, but make no mistake, beneath the veneer lies a burning ambition to serve artistic exploration of a global community of accordion players and their devotees. From rhinestone-studded cowboys to tie-dye-clad hippies, every soul in between who has ever felt the irresistible pull to the squeeze box. This is your spiritual home. And just like that, another hour has vanished into the ethereal realm of broadcast, leaving us here in our decidedly non-fireside studio, still vibrating with the sheer energy of accordion. A huge, heartfelt thank you to Scott Goree, the visionary force behind the Cotati Accordion Festival. His dedication, the vibrant community it fosters, we love it. He's built something special. It's where the uninitiated become captivated and the fanatics find their tribe. If your curiosity has been piqued, if you've ever felt the faint whisper of a desire to experience the phenomena firsthand, you owe it to yourself to delve deeper. Head on over to CotatiFest.com. That's COTATIFEST.com. There you'll find everything you need to know about the extraordinary gathering, schedules, performers, places to stay, and the surrounding region and its various opportunities for music and otherwise. Don't just sit there by your imaginary fireside. Get out there, embrace the squeezebox revolution. And until next time, keep those bellows breathing and those fingers flying.